You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, wherever you're watching this, welcome back to another Sunday service topic. And today's topic is about learning when to pivot, or sometimes you may just be forced to pivot. And I'm just going to talk about my own life experience about a little bit what I'm going through right now. I recently found out my job that I had for the past 5 or 6 years is being phased out. So I have to pivot to a new job. Now, I know that's could be stressful for some and even sad, but for me, it just kind of forced me to, change a little bit, new change of scenery, and then also kind of gets me geared back to being focused because I have all these goals like I've always told y'all about, and sometimes things can happen to where you have to learn how to pivot. And this my job will be a pivot I wasn't ready for, and then another pivot you actually do plan. Like earlier, I don't know if you remember, I was doing live streaming because I thought for Rumble I wasn't monetized, and then number two, I thought if I stream for 30 hours just for 1 month, because that's what you gotta do for Rumble, you will be able to open up the live stream monetization. But come to find out a few things. Number one, I was already monetized on Rumble. And then number two, I would have to stream 30 hours every single day. And thinking about it and going over my schedule and my time, I was like, that's not feasible. That's not possible because everything I'm trying to do, doing that live streaming for that hour a day is taking too much. So I had to pivot. So there's those are two examples when you need to learn to pivot in life. One is when you do plan. Two is when you didn't. Now, as far as my job, even though I was not expected for this to happen, like I said, I do believe it's a good thing because it kind of sometimes you need to be shaken up a little bit to rededicate focus because, like everyone, like even like myself, we can all get complacent and get used to doing everything. And then when something like that could kind of shake your resistance or shake your whole foundation, because some people, when they get that news, they may be on the street by the end of the week. Luckily, I'm not in that situation, but it does kind of register the brain back to focus and understanding, okay, you still have goals you got to hit. You still need to be focused and you should always looking to become better, whether that's personality wise, job wise, or looking for a better job. And as y'all could tell, it's early because I want to make sure I start getting these videos out early like I used to before football season starts. And when this happens, you can't really just, well, it's easier to say for myself because, like I said, I won't be on the street. But with these situations, you just gotta kind of take it for what it is and just be ready for the growth. And if you're not ready for the growth or ready for that change, like I've always said, the world is just going to leave you behind. And then you don't want to sit there and mope because you can miss your opportunity or you can fail. Like you can be on the street. It's that real, especially when it comes to life. And I know some people, it's harder to get over these situations, especially so random like that, and especially if you've been at that job for a while. And like I love my job, and then I've worked with some great people, but it does put things in perspective. Like I've always said, anything can change. You could be there one day and then the next day you can't, so you just have to kind of remain that focus. And hearing that news, because I got the phone call, I want to say, what was it, last week? I got that phone call, and it wasn't like I was sad or hurt. It was just like a whoa, okay. I was not expecting that news. And then plus, like I said, I honestly do love my job, but hearing that, it's I was like, okay, you have to reset, you have to recalibrate. You can't just let it get you down, because a lot of times I don't want to say I have the perfect job because my perfect job will be working for myself and, doing this. But I can say I had a great job. It worked with my schedule outside of work. It was easy to work out and still train and do all those other things and do this with that job as well. So that's the unfortunate thing. Um, it's definitely and I think when I drop this, I think I'm just gonna have it raw, and I'm not gonna edit it. And as you see, I am looking at my phone because it does have to be at least 8 minutes long, and then I don't really have the time to edit. But this is something I'm really gonna play back next year, especially when I get that new job. Um, it's just something to reflect, and I'm pretty sure because today is my last day at that job, a lot of those memories are gonna start to go through my mind, and I remember what happened prior to when I had to work my way up to get that job, and I was working part time to part time, so it was a long journey and it took a while, but it did also teach me that old adage, if you work hard and have tunnel vision, you can achieve that goal. Now, in this part of my life, since I'm on the later end of my life, it just kind of it does kind. I'll be honest, it sucks from that aspect because you have something so solid and you have a great job to where you can build other things. But now I'm going to have to look for another job to where, okay, you know how I'm able to drop 2 videos a day and go run like 6 miles and go lift weights and go hoop and go do this with my new job? I may be only to drop 1 video a day. I may not be able to go run 6 miles, maybe two. I may not be able to go hoop. I may be able to get a light lift in. So my whole life is going to change. And I can understand how the stress it can bring to people because, like, I'm by myself. I don't have a wife. I don't have a family. So since I'm not stressed about it, it's easier to deal with. But who's to say that if I had a wife or if I had a family, like a son or a daughter, that they won't be stressed by that, which I can understand if they were, and if it would affect them. So, and I'm sure any spouse doesn't want to hear their husband or wife telling them that their job is getting phased out, so they're going to be out of a job. And I'm sure no one wants to hear that because your life could flash before your whole eyes, especially if I don't know what your financial situation is. If you have a bad financial situation, you know, things could get shaky real quick to where that stress could hurt you and your relationship. And also your mental state, your mental, because I know I've seen people when jarring stuff like this that can happen in their life. I don't I think the proper term to use is breakdown because I'm trying to be serious. I'm not trying to be funny and make fun of somebody, but I've seen people who've been in situations like this. Well, them being in a family setting, and this was the first domino that caused them to break down and cause their relationship to crumble. So a lot of that stress. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm not stressed at all. I'm looking forward to the next adventure. And I just really wanted to, because I know normally I talk about points what you can do. I thought that would kind of be too mellow and too kind of bland. I really just wanted to show y'all this topic about my own personal life because this is literally what I'm going through right now. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the journey next, especially with y'all by my side. And I believe I did hit 8 minutes on this video. So y'all keep your heads up, be blessed, be safe next week. And remember, y'all, sometimes you may just be forced to learn how to pivot. But at the end of the day, you need to learn how to pivot because if you don't, the world will leave you behind. I will see you on the next video.